Are you ready to transforming self-sabotage into self-mastery? Because, let me tell you, I just finished reading this amazing book called The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, and it's packed with valuable insights and wisdom that I can't wait to share with you. In this video, I'm going to help you recognize the negative patterns in your life and what they are really telling you. Changing those patterns will be like climbing a mountain, and the reward will be unlocking your own potential. Introduction. Are you ready to take on the climb of a lifetime and reach your greatest potential? Because that's exactly what understanding your subconscious behavior can do for you. I know, it sounds daunting. Facing your fears and bad habits can be tough. But just like climbing a mountain, the journey will be worth it in the end. You see, those negative patterns and habits are holding you back from living your best life. But with a little bit of honesty and self-reflection, you can learn from them and use that knowledge to guide you towards a brighter future. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the ways habits and worries can hold you back. But don't worry, we'll also explore all the ways you can use that knowledge to your advantage and transform yourself into the person you were meant to be. And don't be surprised if some of the examples and scenarios in the video sound familiar. That's all part of the process. When you finally get honest and face your most challenging obstacle, yourself, you're well on your way to climbing that mountain and changing your life for the better. Idea number 1. Have you ever heard of self-sabotage? It might sound like something a hypnotist would make you do, but trust me, it's a whole lot sneakier than that. In fact, it's something that we all do, and it's not always easy to spot. So, what is self-sabotage? It's a coping mechanism we use to meet a need or emotion that's not being fulfilled. It protects us and makes us feel better in the short term, but it's not a long-term solution. It's like putting a band-aid on a broken leg. It might feel better in the moment, but it's not going to fix the problem. Self-sabotage can take many forms, like perfectionism, avoiding trying new things because you can't stand to do them imperfectly, uprooting, diverting your attention to the next big thing instead of facing your real problems, or pride, staying in situations that don't work because you're too ashamed to leave. So, how do you know if you're stuck in a spiral of self-sabotage? If you care more about how happy you appear to be than actually being happy, or if you're more scared of your feelings than anything else, or if you're waiting for someone else to save you. Breaking free of the spiral isn't easy, but the first step is recognizing your self-sabotaging acts for what they are, coping mechanisms that feel good in the moment but are actually holding you back. Try making a list of all your problems and being specific, clear and honest about what's really wrong. And then, promise yourself that you won't accept it anymore. Like climbing a mountain, it's not an easy task, but the view from the top is worth it. Idea number 2. Alright, so you've identified your self-sabotaging behaviors, now what? It's time to listen to what they're really trying to tell you. Because, let's be real, our bad habits are like little messengers, trying to get our attention and tell us what's really going on. Take overworking, for example. Sure, you might be really passionate about your career, but if you're neglecting the rest of your life for the office, that's not healthy. It could mean that you're uncomfortable with your own feelings and you're using work as a distraction. So, be honest with yourself and deal with that instead of burning the midnight oil. Or if you're constantly worrying about what others think of you, it could mean that you're not as happy as you think. If you were truly content with yourself and your life, you wouldn't need the approval of others. But if you find yourself constantly seeking validation, that's your subconscious trying to tell you to fix that part of your life. Maybe you're spending too much money? It could be filling a void in your life, whether it's love, a hobby, or exercise. So, figure out what that void is and find a way to fill it that doesn't involve shopping or credit cards. Remember, these self-sabotaging behaviors can be sneaky. They're good at disguising themselves and giving you instant gratification or a false sense of security. And they can be hard to spot, because the voice inside your head that identifies them is usually pretty quiet. But it's there, and it's waiting for you to listen. But you gotta be willing to be completely honest with yourself and ignore the other, false sounds in your head. That's the key to really understanding and learning from your self-sabotaging behaviors. Idea number 3. Let's talk about gut instincts. It's not just a saying, it's a real thing. Your gut can actually store information, and the vagus nerve sends it to your brain faster than you can even think about it. Boom, gut instinct. But here's the thing, gut instincts can only be used in the present. Like when you meet someone for the first time and get an immediate impression without really thinking about it. That's your gut instinct working the way it should. But if you try to use it to predict the future, it's not going to work. You'll just be projecting your assumptions and biases. It's the same with feelings. They can provide helpful insights, but they can also show you a false reality. Sometimes our mood can distort everything around us. And remember, positive actions lead to positive feelings, not the other way around. It can be tricky to differentiate between gut instincts and feelings. They can seem similar sometimes, and emotions can be more appealing to listen to than reason. But here's a tip. Listen to the voice that's calm, not the one that's fearful. Listen to the voice that's solving problems, not the one that's creating them. Listen to the voice that's loving, not the one that's scared. But here's the real challenge, using these tools in real time. It's easy to know that feelings can distort reality, but can you remember that when you're angry? It's easy to know that gut instincts can't predict the future, but can you remind yourself that when you're anxious? If you're tired of acting impulsively on emotions and the apologies that usually follow, it's time to disconnect feelings from your behaviors and learn to process your emotions in real time. Trust me, it's worth it. Idea number 4. Alright, so you've identified your self-sabotaging behaviors. You've listened to what they're telling you. You've filtered out the noise. But now what? How do you actually stop those bad habits? Well, here's the thing. Change is hard. Our brains are wired to resist it, because change can be uncomfortable. Your brain is in charge of keeping thousands of bodily functions in balance, and that creates a physical comfort zone which is great for your body. But it also creates a mental comfort zone, and that's not always good for you. When you're stuck in bad habits, it's because they keep you in that mental comfort zone, and it feels good, so you keep doing them even though you know they're bad for you. And that's not all. The subconscious pursuit of mental comfort also leads to problems like confirmation bias, extrapolation, and spotlighting. So, when you finally decide to change, you have to do it slowly. Jumping too far out of your comfort zone will shock you, and you'll crawl right back to your old habits. Start with small changes, like leaving 10 minutes earlier than normal instead of 2 hours if you want to work less. Or walking for 10 minutes instead of buying a gym membership if you want to exercise more. These small changes will lead to some distress, but that's okay. Discomfort is a part of the process, but it will be manageable if you take it slowly. And before you know it, the changes you want will follow. Idea number 5. Alright, so you've recognized your bad habits and negative feelings, you've filtered out the noise, you've made small changes, but now what? How do you become the best version of yourself? Well, first things first. Don't try to not think about your bad habits. It's not going to work. Just like when someone tells you not to think about a pink elephant. Instead of dwelling on the things you don't want anymore, focus on the things you do want and the person you want to be. Invite that person over for a talk. Yes, literally invite your future self to sit down at the table with you. Take note of what your future self looks like. Notice their body language, their mannerisms. If you're going to become this person, you should know exactly what you're aiming for. Next, ask them for guidance. Their message should be thoughtful and kind. even if it's something difficult like leaving a job or a relationship. And finally, picture them giving you exactly what you want in physical form. You already operate with multiple selves. Like the person you are with your friends is different from the person you are with your family, and that person is different from the one you are at work. To find your best self, start by asking what your best self would do right now, in your current situation. Admit your weaknesses and outsource what you don't do well. Be willing to be disliked, and plan and act with purpose. Because haphazard efforts lead to haphazard results. In a nutshell, don't try to not think about your bad habits. Focus on the best version of yourself. Invite your future self to have a chat. Ask them for guidance. Picture them giving you exactly what you want. Ask yourself what your best self would do right now. Admit your weaknesses. Outsource what you don't do well. Be willing to be disliked and plan and act with purpose. Becoming the best version of yourself is not a quick or easy process, but it's worth it in the end. Idea number 6. Congratulations! You've done the hard work. You've climbed the mountain and you've become the best version of yourself. But don't expect things to suddenly become easy. Successful people still have needs, still have emotions, and still have to do the inner work to maintain their progress. Find ways to enjoy the little things in life. Cultivate positive relationships. See every situation as a learning experience, and keep up with your inner work. By doing all these things, you can eventually find inner peace. Not just happiness, which comes and goes, but inner peace, a sense of calm and control in every moment of your life. Summary. You know the drill. You're your own worst enemy, but you're also your greatest teacher. You might be wondering why you're always getting in your own way, but the truth is, those self-sabotaging behaviors that block your way are your own personal mountain. And just like climbing a mountain, it's going to take some hard, honest work to reach the top. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be comfortable, but the key is to keep going. The path to change is a slow one, and the footing can get treacherous, but if you're willing to put in the work, you can change your life. So, lace up your boots, pack your bags, and get ready to climb that mountain and change your life in the process. Now, the insights and knowledge I gained from reading The Mountain Is You were truly profound. I highly recommend it. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and if you found value in this video, please don't hesitate to give it a like and share it with your friends and loved ones.